Welcome back to What She Said. It is Sunday night. Okay, so as y'all can see, I'm wearing my Bland t-shirt. And of course, I have a Travis Hunter Heisman t-shirt. And tonight we have a good podcast planned. Travis put out his highlights. I was excited to watch them. The production was A1. And tonight we're going to continue and take a deeper dive into NFL contracts. And we're going to talk about the unfortunate demise of the finances of NFL players, which happens way too often. So I'll just give a few minutes for the squad to show up. It is Sunday night. People might be out and about. So I'll put on some music. And if you're in the comments, let me know how you're doing. Drop an emoji to let me know how you feel. Otherwise, just give me a second to put on this music and we'll be good. All right. All right. I hope everybody had a good weekend. I see two people back there. Thank y'all so much. I always have people who hang out in the background. I appreciate y'all showing up every time. Is that Jen? Jen? Thank you, Jen. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome. We're just giving it a second for everybody to show up. So we're going to vibe out for a second. Tonight's conversation, the NFL. And there's some players who went broke that really surprises a lot of us. Now, for people who think, oh, this happened a long time ago, you know what? What it shows is that a lot of NFL players don't plan for retirement. And one of the other hiccups that NFL players experience that actually cost them a lot of money and drive them right into bankruptcy is, I want to see if you can guess, what is one factor that is one of the main reasons that NFL players go broke? Drop it in the comments. Let me know. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, give you a second to answer that question. I'll see if I can type it in the chat. What's up, John John? Hey, John John, welcome. We're diving into NFL contracts tonight. We're talking about factors that drive NFL players into bankruptcy way too often, which ties into our NFL contracts conversation. And Travis Hunter, Mr. Not Bland, Mr. Does Not Blend, dropped his highlights tonight. And I like them. They look pretty good. The production was A1. So we're just giving it a few minutes for everybody to show up. I asked the question, so while we wait, let me see if I can type the question into the chat. Name one of the reasons NFL players go broke. So let's see if I can type it in there. One reason NFL players go broke. All right. So we have that question going while we wait for people to show up. We're waiting on the squad. All right. So I just dropped the question in the chat. Let's see who can get it. Okay. All right. All right. All right. We got some good responses. All right, Jen. I can't wait to see your response. All right. All right, so let's read the first response. So, welcome to What She Said podcast. Question tonight, I just dropped it into the chat. Name one reason NFL players go broke. There are several, but I just want you to pick one. So, I'm going to go ahead and start reading off the comments. Jen said, hold on one second. Jen said greedy family members and unnecessary purchases, such as 8 Lambos. Ooh, I like it. Yeah, overspending. That goes under the overspending category. So you're absolutely correct. Let's see, K Daniel. Welcome, K Daniel. Welcome back. Divorce. Yes. Expensive divorce. Yes. Believe it or not, that is one of the causes that lands NFL players into bankruptcy. Divorce. Absolutely. Kiel said they're always buying things they really don't need and trying to stay up with the Joneses, and they don't understand they have Smith money. Right. Because see, the average NFL career is 3.3 years. So there's a lot of people who don't make it past 3.3 years. Now, there are guys that do. Believe it or not, there's a large number of people that play in the NFL that make it to free agency. They make it past the rookie contract. They get the big money, and then they lose the money after free agency. And one of the issues is your life expectancy is longer than your 20s. So you got to live 32, 42, 52, 62, 72, possibly 82. You got to live almost 5 decades with that same NFL money that you got in your 20s. Let that sink in. Let it sink in. So that's why you see a lot of the older players going broke, because now they're in their late 60s, 70s, 80s. They didn't expect to live that long, or maybe they did. They just didn't realize that that's pretty much the only money you're going to get in that type of large sum. And that's exactly what the problem is. So when you sign a contract for your rookie season that takes you from, say, 22 to 26, and that's what, $40 million in today's money, $10 million a year. If you go out and buy a $10 million house, you got 30 left, plus you had to pay Uncle Sam first. So you almost working yourself into the negative because you have to maintain the house. You know, then you buy mama house, and you don't buy mama house upfront cash. Mom got to pay taxes. So if you buy mama house, you have a $10 million house. Mom got a $2 million house. You got to pay your taxes of $20,000 a year. Mom's taxes of $10,000 a year. And guess what? Oh, I didn't pay mom's house off. Now she got a mortgage. Oh, I'm sorry, you have a mortgage. Mortgage and taxes, mortgage and taxes, maintenance and upkeep, overspending, because you're not realizing that this money that you get is for the rest of your life. You're talking 5 decades. When you get older, somebody's going to have to care for you. If the inevitable happens, you don't have children, or your children pass on before you, you're going to have to go to an expensive retirement home. So the money that you make today has to last you a lifetime. So I have respect for players like Ocho, who say, hey, I'm frugal. This jewelry isn't real. He knew, he figured it out, but he had to learn the hard way. Ocho told his story. He was actually living at the facility, called himself being frugal, but then he said he got out here, he spent up all of his money. Like in one of his first or second year, there was a particular year early in Ocho's career, he had to borrow money from another player. So you know how players live paycheck? I mean, a lot of people live paycheck to paycheck. There are players that live season to season. Oh, I'm gonna get $12 million this season. I'm gonna blow it all, and I don't have any money to take me through the summer, so I gotta borrow money from another player until those checks start coming back in, until I start getting the next 12 million. Yes, there are players that live season to season. Yes. And those are the players that's gonna go broke first. Because what happens if you get injured unexpectedly? All right, so let's check the comments. Shout out to Kiel. They always buying things they don't really need. K. Daniel said no prenup. Let's talk about that. Not only is the divorce itself expensive, because typically, sometimes, not all times, but a lot of times divorce gets contentious. Then you got to split everything in half. And a lot of people don't realize the money that you make after you get married, depending on what state you get married in, is community property. So let's say you have a $40 million contract. You get $10 million a year. If you get married after you get that $40 million, you get that $40 million contract, then you go jump the broom. Guess who 20 million belong to? Absolutely. 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 If you signed your contract in your married name, guess what? You already divvied up half your money. And that's why you see a lot of these guys having, unfortunately, long relationships with multiple people, because they don't want to get married, because they understand that half is due. But then child support is no different. You might as well get married if you're going to have 8 or 10 kids that you have to provide for the next 18 or 19 years. 8 kids at 18 years. That's a lot of money. And we just heard who? We just heard Cam Newton say, I can't care for my kids and provide for my kids like I used to when I played ball. Really? So that told you that his thinking way back then is that he thought that the things that were going on when he played ball was gonna, the way things were, it was gonna always be that way. Let me explain something to you. The way that things are right now at 9:02 p.m. is not the way they will be at 10:02 p.m. So imagine you getting $10 million a year for 7 years and $70 million, and you got to live 50 or 60 more years providing for 8 children for 18 years. Okay, you should have just got married. Just gonna go put it out there. You should have just got married. You know, I don't know. I don't think there's no poison is better. The point is you trying to circumvent a process by not getting married so you don't divide up your $70 million. But look at how much money you're paying, 18 years per child at 8 children. Then you still have to live. That means you have to go back to work. So NFL retirement is not retirement. I need another job to live the next 50 years and provide for my children. So yes, K. Daniel, not having a prenup or not choosing wisely what state you get married in, because when it comes to Mr. Travis Hunter, it has been discussed over and over and over that him getting married in Tennessee is a setup for the okie doke. Because why? In Tennessee, the bride can basically say, I didn't read the contract before I signed it. They'll toss it out. I didn't read the prenup before I signed it. They tossed it out. Oh, I felt pressure to sign it. Tossed it out. I didn't have a lawyer look over it with me. Tossed it out. It's so easy to toss out a prenup in Tennessee. But when you aren't paying attention to what's going on around you, you just might think, oh, she picked Tennessee because they have nice venues. And that's how players go broke. Expensive divorces, no prenup. So thank you for that, K. Daniel. D-Lay said too much materialistic lifestyle and not enough investments. Yes. Okay, let's talk about that. Being materialistic, that seems to come with it. And I don't know why, but it is. Okay. Investments. You know, I don't know what it is. I'm sure it has something to do with liquid assets, meaning people know that you have $10 million, $6 million, $40 million, $100 million sitting in a few bank accounts. They know that. So everybody comes to you with an idea. You know what I heard Jay-Z say? Everybody has an idea on how they want to be successful using your money. So you win the lottery, because that's essentially what draft day is like. You win the lottery, I guarantee you there are already people out there waiting to get next to you. Some of them you related to. Hey, nephew, you know, I want to open up a car wash / hair salon / slip and slide. And, you know, it's going to be successful. And, yeah, they say, you know, I could start the business for 50 G's, you know, 50 cash. Okay, cool. Why you need his money? Because you don't have the money. And if they did, they probably wouldn't even put it in that venture. But because they're your uncle, and they took you to Little League, or they came to maybe 2 or 3 of your games, maybe they came to all of them. You feel somewhat obligated to give 50 G's because you slept on his couch or you played with his son every weekend since y'all was 2. It's possible. So guilt, don't let guilt drive you into the poorhouse. I think one famous rapper, and even if he doesn't play football, it doesn't matter. This is just what happens. People feel the need to take care of every single person around them and travel with about 100 people, and you have to pay for those people. I've already seen one athlete, not saying no names, play for Colorado. Every single time I see him, there are other people in tow. And guess who paid their way? Yup. There are people out here who they might like cars, but if you could afford it, that's cool. You know, some people have an issue with Shedeur buying another car, right? Because they don't know if he buying it or not. He was shopping. Somebody was in my comments and they said he needs to do what his mentor Tom Brady to do is focus. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to tell Shedeur how to celebrate. And he has his own money and he grew up wealthy. I don't even call him flashy. He's just young, black, and wealthy. And if he has the cash and he's not going to his dad and maybe he's leasing these cars, I don't really know. But the point of it is, if that's what you want to do, cool. But understand that the money you have today, if you get injured, that's it. Part of the collective bargaining agreement, which is about 450 some odd pages, for 2020, just added for retired players vision insurance. I was like, huh? You mean to tell me retired football players didn't have vision benefits? So they was out here on their own. So you have to plan for retirement, because it doesn't sound like it's that parachute package that CEOs get. Sound like CEOs have a better retirement package than NFL players. There are CEOs that get fired and get a going away check for $18 million, plus they benefits, health insurance, life insurance, and probably for their spouses paid for the rest of their lives. NFL players put their lives on the line and they just now getting vision benefits in 2020. So that means you need to plan for your retirement. If the average career is 3.3 years, that means you're 22 now, plus 2 plus 3 is 5. So by the time you get 25 or 26, you need to already have your retirement nest egged up, because your number is coming. Everybody not LeBron James. Understand that. It said, let's see. That's a good point right then, because Cam Newton is going through that right now with all the child support. Right. So, you know, let me put some people on game, okay? One of the things people go and buy first is a car. Then they get a house. But let's talk about the car first. First off, you should lease the car. In fact, I think I actually heard Shedeur and Tom Brady have a conversation. And Shedeur was like, I want to be like you and get the Rolls Royce. I'm pretty sure I heard Tom Brady say, oh, I leased that. Learn from the GOAT. Now, mind you, he was just at the Super Bowl with a $7 million watch on. And you know why that's okay? Because watches appreciate in value. Watches are an investment. They go up in value as long as you don't change the original and bling it out. When you bling it out, you actually devalue it. So if you want to buy a $7 million whatever, or you want to buy what Jay-Z have on his own, cool. But don't go bling it out, because you devalue it. Watches increase in value. You want to buy a Cartier for yourself when you get your next bonus, cool, because it's going to go up in value. But the moment you drive any car off the lot, including a $1.4 million Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon 4x4 squared Maybach edition, you could drive it around the block and it's going to instantly drop in value. That's why you lease cars. So if you want a new car every now and then, lease it. Don't buy it unless you're telling yourself, I'm going to give this to my sister when I finish with it. I'm going to give this to my mom. And cool, you can still lease it. You could just still lease it. So listen to the GOAT. Lease the luxury cars. Buy the house. Pay off the taxes for 10 years. If you're gonna buy mama a house, don't give her a bill. Don't give mama a bill and then you get hurt and then you can't work and she can't afford the taxes and y'all lose the house. Buy mama the house, and guess what? If you buy a $10 million house, mama don't need a $10 million house. Balance it out. Just balance it out. That's how people go broke. I read one of our favorite athletes went broke because he had way too many real estate investments and defaulted on a $1.4 million house. Trying to have all of these, I'm gonna have rental properties here. Okay, having tenants is not easy. People sell that dream, but find somebody that's doing well at it and learn from them. Don't just hop into real estate because somebody has something to sell you. Overspending, bad investments, expensive divorces, no prenups. You know how long the average professional athlete's marriage actually lasts? The divorce rate is 75%. And it actually ticks up higher after your playing days. So in other words, okay, so y'all got married at 22. You made it to 25. Cool. It's now time for you to get married. Retire. You around each other all the time. You know, it's different when you coming and going. You like with a different person, it's exciting. But when y'all both at home all the time and the money not coming in and you have questions, sometimes I want a divorce. So now you're not only not an NFL player no more, you don't have no NFL money. Now you got to divide what you got left. There was an NFL player. Oh no, he's a basketball player. His woman was on OnlyFans. Y'all know who I'm talking about. His woman was on OnlyFans. And I think he was upset because she was on OnlyFans. And I heard her say, well, I came to you about the problem. The problem being they ain't have no money. And she said, I needed a solution. So she went on OnlyFans first. I believe she was a dancer first. So she went back to what she knew and elevated it a little bit. Instead of going back to the club and dance, she went to OnlyFans. And he was upset about that, but they didn't have no money and they were getting ready to have their house foreclosed on. Are these really the kind of problems you're going to have? Are you more upset that your woman is on OnlyFans, or are you more upset that you getting ready to be foreclosed on and homeless? These are not problems you have to have. All right. Herman said, D.O. I think I know what he means, but I'm not sure. Okay. Trying to cope or trying to party. Yeah, that's going to cost you. Snow is expensive. Understand that. So yeah, that's facts. That's facts. All right. So now that we actually covered a lot of ground. Professional athletes, the divorce rate is 75%. Having no prenup and going through an expensive, continuous divorce will drive you into bankruptcy faster than that Lambo that you bought every year in different colors, because that's what you had to have. If you're going to buy the luxury car, lease it, because buying 10 cars, you're going to end up owing money on 10 cars, or all you're going to have is 10 cars, and you're going to lose everything else. Lease the car. Buying too much real estate and not knowing what to do with it, how to manage it, and then you end up losing your main $1 million house. So faulty investments, expensive divorces, multiple children, because children, you have to take care of them for 18 years, multiple children, with no matter how many women it is. But if it's multiple women and it's multiple children, that just exacerbates the problem. That's just, that I don't know how that's not a headache, but whatever, that's not what this is about. So anyway, those are some of the reasons that NFL players go broke. Let's see. It says, so let's talk about a few players that went broke. And people are going to be like, oh, these are older. No, there's some younger ones out here. And you're going to notice a pattern. So we can go all the way back. A few people, I don't even want to say their name. Okay, Andre Rison is on here. Mark Brunell is on here. Luther Ellis is on here. Johnny Unitas all the way back. Ismail, Raheem Ismail, Lawrence Taylor, Dan Marino. Everybody knows Dan Marino. Dermot Dawson, Chris McAllister, Vince Young, Andre Peterson, Deuce McAllister. That's just a few. And one of our faves, two of our faves is on here. Warren Sapp and Terrell Owens. So, Michael Vick is actually on here. So one of the patterns you can kind of see is when unexpected things take place. So we know the Michael Vick story. He clearly didn't understand the consequences of that. But, we know he's on his way back, but there's nothing like where he was at first. Terrell Owens, Warren Sapp went through all the money they had in their contracts. Lawrence Taylor has financial issues, legal issues. Vince Young, same thing, financial issues, legal issues. So the pattern here, I was shocked about Andre Rison. I really was. And Andre Rison is a person that gave me, okay, I didn't know I was going to live to be this old and not really do much afterwards. See, our beloved Coach Prime is a hustler. I don't care. And not in a bad way. This man, from the time we knew him, when a lot of people knew him when he was an Atlanta Falcon, all the way to now, what has he consistently done? 1 is elevate. 2 is stay busy. 3, he has hella endorsements. So that's how he's been able to constantly grow and maintain. And then actually becoming a coach, whether he knew it or not, becoming a coach at his son's and his kids' schools, and then going to Jackson State. Well, we knew that wasn't about the money. Coming to Colorado wasn't about the money. But this next contract could be show me the money. That's what it could be. And that's because he kept himself busy. A lot of people, they don't do that. They play golf. Golf is actually not cheap. There are some places that have green fees that are $400. Imagine your buddies wanting to go play golf 4 times a week at $400 for green fees. You got to be able to say, you know what, I'm not going to be able to do that. Because you don't have any more money to come in. You don't have any endorsements. That ran out when you were 25. That ran out when you were 30. You're now 57. You getting ready to stare 60 in the face. And then you probably could live till you 80. So, that's one of those things that the young guys need to think about. So what we're getting ready to do now is talk about NFL contracts. All right. So we talked about this the other day. Okay. We're going to take a deeper dive into it. This is NFL Contracts 101. Okay. I said yesterday that you just need to read it. It's not intimidating. It's only probably 20, 25 pages at the most. The section that you care about the most is the salary section. But see, here's the thing. They did a lot of the work for you. They did a lot of the work for you because you have prefab contracts that are based on a scale. And on that scale, it changes from player to player about $2 million if you're in the first round. Obviously, the first pick makes the most money. But the second pick is about $2 million difference, right? So in the case of Caleb last year, Caleb was at $39 million for being the first pick in the draft, okay? I think Jaden Daniels was at 37. What's that, $2 million? All right. So the first 5 picks, the first 6 picks, they're all about the same range, but about $2 million down the ladder. That's called the scale, okay? And there's 2 qualities these contracts have. One, I put it over here in blue. You can't change it. It's unalterable. And it's non-negotiable. You're not negotiating anything. So let's talk about making a good financial decision. So in the case of a $39 million contract for 4 years, the good thing about it is A lot of it, if not all of it, is guaranteed. And that should be the first question you ask the person. That should be the first question you have. Is this entire contract guaranteed? Or is a portion of it guaranteed? Write that down. That's one of the questions you want to ask. How much of it, if not all of it, is guaranteed? And then know that's what you're going to pay taxes on immediately. That's why you need an accountant. Actually, NFL rookies need an accountant more than they need a representation agent. See, a representation agent is supposed to go in there and negotiate how much you get. Those days are gone. That happens at free agency. And that's when they're going to want they 3 or 4%. So let's talk about $39 million is your 4-year contract. And they want you to pay that percentage. Let's say 3% on $39 million. Just for what? Reading your contract. Because why? They can't negotiate it. You can't change it. It's prefab. You know how much you get paid based on where you get drafted. If you get drafted number 1 in the first round or number 256, the salary is set. All you want to know is how much of it is guaranteed to know how much money you're going to start getting right away. Okay? So, I think we're all on the same page. There's no negotiating, no need for an agent. Yes, I need an accountant. You know why? Because I have to pay taxes. Now, with the NBA, they pay taxes in every state that they play a game in. So your question is, as an NFL player, if I play 8 games in different cities that are not my home state, do I have to pay taxes? Yes, is probably the answer, but it's good to confirm. Put that right up there with how much of my contract is guaranteed. In what states do I have to pay taxes if I am an NFL player? So let's talk about this $39 million that your contract is, regardless of how much you get. That if you decide, I don't want to read my 20 or 25 page contract, I'm going to go ahead and pay somebody to do it. Even though they can't negotiate, I got the money. I'm going to just go ahead and spend it. How much will it cost me? Well, if it's 1%, it's going to cost you $390,000. Imagine paying somebody $390,000 to read a 20-page document that you could have read in less than an hour. That's called wasting money. You know why? Because, I got it. Let me just spend it. Also on the list, overspending. That is an overspending category expense. You're overspending if you pay somebody $390,000, which is 1%. Because somebody gonna come along and say, hey, look, I know I don't need to negotiate your contract for you. I understand those days are over. And yeah, I'm gonna be right there with you when you get your extension in 4 or 5 years. Because every contract for rookies is 4 years. There's no negotiating that, right? So somebody gonna try to get next to you right now so they could be there when it's time to get that 5-year, to get that extension. So, hey, why don't you just go ahead on and let me read it, and I'll come back to you if there's something that you might want to look into. Oh, yeah, sure. And see, some people feel like because I have it, I'm going to go ahead and pay it. Sure, how much you going to charge me? Oh, normally I charge 4 to 3%, but I'm going to go ahead and charge you 1% since I'm just reading it, and I'm pointing out anything in there for you. Okay, cool. Not even stopping to add that's $390,000 to read a 20-page document that includes your salary based on where you got drafted. Something that's public information. It's not a secret. It's not rocket science. That's how people go broke. That's exactly how people go broke. Listening to people say, why don't you go ahead on and get an agent? Because they want to do a favor for the person that's your agent. Oh, why don't you go ahead and use my auntie, cousin, sister who's a lawyer, and she in law school. She get ready to graduate. Go ahead on and pay her the 1%. All the while, nobody has said out loud that this 1% is $390,000. You should feel used if that happens. Now imagine the one that's out here with the $39 million contract. And somebody realizes that they green. And they got people in their corner telling them, hey, why don't you go ahead on and get with this agent? You know, we maybe, get into a different social circle or something like that. Yeah, let's just go ahead and get this agent to handle all your contracts. Okay, cool. And probably they're going to handle your extension too. You just don't know it, right? All right. I'm going to say times, let's say 2.5%. Let's say they gave you a discount. Let's just say they gave you a discount. They're like, I'm going to do you a favor. Instead of charging you the 4% or the 3% I normally charge, I'm going to go ahead on and charge you 2.5% to handle your rookie contract. You're like, cool, that sounds good. I like a discount. If 1% was $390, 2.5% is $975,000. You're going to pay somebody $975,000 to read a 20-page document that's likely going to be in eDoc that you can upload to your laptop and on right click read aloud. And while you working out or while you making dinner, you can hear everything it says because it's going to read that document to you. And if you have any questions, I'm pretty sure you could ask somebody that either was in the league, I don't know, maybe one of your coaches played in the NFL. Hell, maybe your girlfriend is in law school. You could ask her to read if it's a problem. But the point is, when people say they're going to give you a discount on your rookie contract from the standard 4% or 3% down to 2.5%, understand if you the first pick off the board, that's $975,000. You just paid somebody $1 million to read a 20-page document because you got it. All right. That's how people go broke. That's exactly how people go broke. Athletes should study the book Personal Finance for Dummies. And it just seems to me that everybody knows that athletes and money don't do well together. Like oil and water, it just don't mix. It said, did they have to ask about the insurance clause if they get injured within their first contract? They should. Like I said, you should always, after somebody hands you a document that's 20 pages, 25 pages long, you should always have questions because if not, you know everything or you didn't read it. So that is something that you should ask. It says, then I said that yesterday, they need an accountant. Absolutely. You need an accountant because of your taxes. Now, if you feel like you need a wealth manager to help you with your money, that's different. Your wealth manager can manage all the money that's liquid or invested. That's cool. But you still need somebody to help you understand your tax burden. Is it that I'm in what tax bracket? 39%, 40%? So you up there with the big boys, the big girls. So you owe 40% off the rip and you got to pay taxes in every state that you play ball in. That's a question that you need confirmed. Well, I know for the NBA, they have to do it. Okay, well, then you play in other states. It's called work tax. Wherever you work, you pay tax. It happens to people in states like Georgia, Tennessee, Mississippi. I might live in Georgia and Atlanta, but I can drive an hour up the road and work in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I gotta pay taxes. Work tax in Chattanooga, Tennessee, but I also gotta pay taxes because I live in Georgia. Georgia state tax, Tennessee state tax. So if someone has to do that because they live by a state line, it's called work tax. Understand that if the NBA have to do it, understand that if a regular person like myself or anybody else that lives by the border of another state and they have to cross over for work, then as an NFL player, you got to do it too. And they play 17 games? All of those games are not home games. So those are things you need to keep up with. And like I said at the top of the podcast, an NFL rookie needs an accountant more than they need a representation agent because there's nothing for them to represent you on. Save that 2.5% which is $975,000, save that $390,000 that they giving you a deal on, or that 2.5%, or heaven forbid if they think you slow, all of it, 4%, 5%, save that money for a rainy day. So that's that. Did they have to ask about the insurance clause if they get injured within their first contract? They should. I mean, I would. I don't know if that's something that they need to ask about, but just off the top, there are a few obvious things that they need to ask. What is, how much of it is guaranteed? You got an accountant that you recommend, be careful with that. But you need an accountant. But how much of my salary is guaranteed? Because think about it, there will be somebody out here who might think, I'm gonna get all of this money and go out here and buy a $20 million house, and they only get $10 million a year. Everybody, doesn't pay attention. People get too excited sometimes. And, people think sometimes because, this person has been around me for a long time, or I've been dating this woman, she been silent since we was in high school. That don't mean they in love with you. Understand that. And people who are not in love with you, they might love you. They just don't want you to get hit by a bus. But that does not mean that every decision they're telling you you should make, that doesn't mean that decision benefit you. Chances are it might benefit them. And you should never be too naive to think, I got this. Okay, then you're going to learn the hard way that you don't. And yeah, they do. They need an accountant. So, that's one of the things that, you have to think about. 20 questions, read your 20 pages, read your own contract. You get paid based on where you get drafted. If you're in the first round, as the first person, you're going to get the most money. And then the second person coming behind you is going to get similar money, about $2 million difference. NFL contracts throughout the years are out there. On the internet, you could actually go out here and look at by the position that you play. You could say, you know what? I'm a running back. Let me see how much, the running backs got last year. Not that I want to negotiate, but I kind of want to get an idea of how much money the running backs make, right? You can go, there's all kind of websites that actually have taken this information, which is public information, not like the government, but publicly made available, and just converted the data into something that you could digest. And that's, and it's publicly available. The first time you see an NFL contract, the structure should not be when you have to sign it. So, okay, let's go back to 2018. I think we talked about 2018 to somebody named Sam Bradford, right? Okay, first pick in 2018 was Baker Mayfield. Contract was 4 years for his rookie contract. Back then, they had something else called AAV, and that was $8 million. But then they had year one. It seems like a signing bonus to me. But then they had year one, year two. He had $5 million the first year, $7 million the second year, $3 million the third year. Saquon Barkley was also in that draft. His contract was $31 million for 4 years. Notice all of these rookie contracts are 4 years. He had $7 million in AAV. Year one, he made $5 million. Year two, he made $7 million. Year three, he made $8 million. And in year four, he made $10 million. And then he had a 5th year option. When you look at the contracts now, they don't even show a 5th year option. They show standard 4 years. And then when you compare, and then remember, Saquon Barkley is what, a running back? He was the second pick, right? Baker Mayfield was a quarterback. He was the first pick. Baker Mayfield's contract was 32.6, all terms of millions. So I'm not going to just keep saying millions. 32.6. Saquon Barkley, a running back, was 31.1. So that's not even a $2 million difference. Sam Darnold was on there. Y'all know he's a free agent. His contract was 4 years, and he was at 30 million. So to me, back then, there was no scale. There was a closer gap in terms of the money. And the money didn't drop off until, let's see, Baker Mayfield was one. The next person down, $10 million less, was Quentin Nelson. He was approximately 23 million, so it's about 11 million. So the number 6 pick was $10 million different from the first pick, right? And then you can actually look at just positions. Let's say that, hey, I'm a quarterback. I want to know how, it goes where the quarterbacks are concerned. Baker Mayfield was first, Sam Darnold second, Josh Allen third with 21 mil. Josh Rosen was 17 mil. Lamar Jackson was $9 million. So out of all those quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson was picked number 32. He had the lowest of the first round at $9 million. That is why when he had his extension, it was worth what, 250 some odd million dollars? So the people above him, Josh Rosen, Josh Allen, Sam Darnold, and Baker Mayfield went before him, and they all have more lucrative contracts. But it looks like in terms of Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson are the two that people talk about the most. But Sam Darnold's free agency is here, and the question is, what's going to happen with that? He has a $18 million fifth-year option. So that's an interesting question. All right, so let's go to, let me check the comments before I go on. We're going to go to 2024, then we're going to go to 2025. 2023, then we're going to go to 2024. All right, let's see. All right, I'm just checking the comments. It said, Kiel said, then I said that yesterday they need an accountant. If NFL rookies need an accountant more than they need an accountant first. You don't even need an agent. You need a lawyer or somebody that understands contracts. Don't let somebody just tell you to sign it. You could pay a lawyer $250 an hour. I actually have an excellent idea. And this is for my Colorado buffs. This is for anybody. You could be at Ohio State. You could be at Alabama. You could be at Colorado. You could be at Oregon. You could be anywhere, okay? Imagine Colorado has 9 players going to the draft, right? About 9. Imagine that somebody at Colorado decides, you know what? Let's all chip in on a lawyer. Since they all got NIL money, let's 9 of us pay $250 a piece. We have a lawyer come in for half the day or the day, depending on how much money it is, and go over NFL contracts, tell us what we need to look out for, workshop it. Do it. If that many of y'all have to think about NFL contracts, because he understands this. Even undrafted free agents have contracts. So you still need to understand the process. You still need possibly an accountant, because I think even if you on a practice squad, your pay was just elevated to $10,500 a game. Want to do the math on that? You need an accountant too. Because why? If your play is considered active, then maybe you have to pay taxes in the states that y'all visit. But you know what? Maybe you don't. So there you go. That's something you need to confirm. But the point is, you making money. And if you're making money, you got to pay taxes. $10,700, that's $178,500. Imagine coming from college and I didn't have that much money, and now I make $178,000 a year, and I travel. So you need to understand what everybody else needs to understand. You need an accountant to help you understand your tax burden, because understanding your tax burden will keep you probably from going broke. It will. Hey, Regina. It said that book is good for anyone. Oh, Making Money, Understanding Finance for Dummies. Yeah, no, you're right. It said it also changed because they got the new TV deal with all of the networks, and now they have Amazon, YouTube for the collective bargaining agreement went up this year. Each team got more money. Right. I heard the salary cap is higher, Kiel, because of that revenue share. And it seems like that can go up every year. And that also helps with the salaries of players on the practice squad. Their salaries got to bump up this year in 2020 as well. I heard they might be at $12,000 now, to be honest. It said that's a great idea. Yeah, the workshop, right? So Instead of you paying a lawyer $1,000. Hold on, let's see. Okay, 9 people chipping in, $250 is $2,250. That means you can get a lawyer for a day. Because if the lawyer made $250 an hour times 8 hours, then y'all gave them a tip. So y'all can get a lawyer. Meet up at one spot. Hey, probably meet up at somebody's house. It's okay. Go to their office, whatever. But the point is, y'all all can go, and then y'all go over the sections of the contract, and you focus on, if you have any questions, I'm sure they'll be happy to answer questions. They just made $2,200 that day. Workshop it. Collaborate. Y'all not discussing money yet because you didn't even get the money yet. And what you're going to learn is, by the time you get to the contract, that should not be the first time you see the contract or see an NFL contract. That should not be the first time you start having questions. Just pick one day, get a lawyer, $250 a piece. 9 of y'all get together, workshop it. Then you get your questions asked. And then when you get that contract in email, guess what you can do? You can open it. You can make sure your name is spelled right, your social security number. You can make sure the date is right. You can make sure your details about what team you're going to go into, how much money you're going to make. You can't negotiate it. Just make sure that it's not the wrong amount. Just make sure they didn't put $2 instead of $20 million. Make sure the decimals are in the right place. Sign it and go enjoy yourself. You can do that for yourself. In fact, you should do that for yourself. That gives you a peace of mind. You know how much you're going to make every year, year over year. Because think about what I just said. Baker Mayfield in year 1 was $6 million. Year 2, $8 million. Year 3, $10 million. Year 4, 72. Is that might be $12 million. Okay. So you get a different amount each year. Now, what if there's somebody out there that thought they got $12 million first, $10 million second, $8 million, and they don't know, and they out here buying an $8,000 house, and they like, oh, I forgot I ain't paid taxes yet. Right? Then you forgot. You know, you got to pay not just federal government, you got to pay work tax. That's how people get messed up with the IRS. You don't want to do that. You don't want to start out that way. And yes, there are some NFL players who actually ended up in fraud, committing fraud because they went broke. Do you really want somebody coming to you, asking you to commit fraud because all y'all out of money? No. What you want is somebody coming to you with a good idea that the 9 of y'all should pay $250 for one lawyer to explain and go over so that when you get yours, you just look for the particulars, have peace of mind, sign it, and that's it. Thank me later. That was free. So workshop it. Hey, Queen T. Hey, Regina. All right. So I said we were going to move on to, let's see. We're going to move on to, let's see. Okay, let's go to 2023. Okay. Anybody remember the 2023 draft? All right. All positions in the 2023 draft. Number 1 off the board to Carolina, Bryce Young. Contract, 4 years, $37 million. So you know it was divided up over 4 years, and I don't see a 5th year option. So when did this 5th year option stop? I feel like it was 2020. Let me just see. In 2019, there was a 5th year option. In 2020, 5th year option. Let's see, it might be 2021. 2021, still a 5th year option. 2022, no 5th year option. Okay. All right. The salaries were about the same, just no 5th year option. All right. So in 2023, we had Bryce Young go first off the board, $37 million, 4 years. Everybody's contract is 4 years. Everybody's contract is in the millions. So we're just going to say Bryce Young, 37. Number 2 off the board, Houston, CJ Stroud, 36. Not much difference at all, right? Number 3, Will Anderson, 35. Number 4, Anthony Richardson, 33. Number 5, Devon Witherspoon, 31. All right. And those positions were quarterback, defensive end, quarterback, and cornerback. Then we get to Paris Johnson, 28, Tyree Wilson, 23. All right. So the first person made 37, which was Bryce Young. It's a $10 million difference at Paris Johnson. So it's almost a $10 million difference in the 2023 draft from the first pick to the 6th pick. So when y'all hear all of this talk about keeping Shedeur out of the top 10, keeping Cam out of the top 10, Tennessee wanting to trade their pick, not even thinking about getting Travis. They don't want to get a pick. Somebody might trade up and get somebody. The money is the difference. The money is the difference. So Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Will Anderson, Anthony Richardson. So let's just look at quarterbacks only. Okay, let's just look at quarterbacks only. Let's see. Quarterbacks only. All right. All right, let's see. All right, quarterbacks. If we look at QBs only, in order, pick 1, Bryce Young, 2, CJ Stroud, 4, Anthony Richardson, 33, Will Levis. All right, let's talk about the difference in contract between number 4 pick, Anthony Richardson, QB for Indianapolis, and number 33 pick, Tennessee, Will Levis, who's been in conversation as should the Tennessee Titans keep him. But now it's starting to look like you get what you pay for. So Will Levis made contract for 4 years was $9.5 million. Anthony Richardson was $33.9. Do y'all see the difference in the money? Do you see the difference in the money? That's a big difference. That's a big difference. So where you get drafted is important. It matters when it comes to the money, because that's how you choose how much money you get. If you're in the first round, it makes a difference if you're the first pick, the 6th pick, or the 32nd pick. Remember, Lamar Jackson's contract sounds like Will Levis, $9 million. But then look at the difference in the talent, right? So that tells you that Lamar Jackson was drafted way too late. We know he's way more talented than Will Levis, right? So that's the kind of things that points out. One, you pay what you get for, and it shows you how some people got snubbed. So let's see. All right, we're an hour in. All right, so let's go to is there another position y'all want to actually look at? Let's see. Let's go to tight ends. I'm always talking about tight ends. Let's see. Dalton Kincaid, tight end from Utah. Sam Portia, tight end from I don't know, look like Northwestern New Mexico, but I don't know. Michael Mayers. Okay, so let's just talk about this. In the 2023 draft, the number 25 pick, which was still the first round, Dalton Kincaid from Utah was paid $13 million for 4 years with no 5th-year option. Number 34, which I think was in the 2nd round, because I think there's 32 rounds, I could be wrong, was $9 million, right? So that's not half, but it's a good difference. So that just goes to show you. So these guys are making an average of $3 million a year, $2 million a year, right? So let's think about that, right? The contract is $9 million. $9 million, and somebody wants 4% to read your contract. Because they think you don't know any better. That's $360,000. Understand this. On that $9 million contract, in year 1, you only make $1.6 million. So do you really want to give up $360,000 off the total amount of your contract, when in year one, you only get $1.6 million? You see how that works? You see how that works? So that's why we're having this conversation. Because when somebody says, hey, I know you don't need me to negotiate for you, but contracts are important. I can give you a discount. Instead of charging you 4 or 3%, I can charge you 2.5%. And you don't even realize, because you haven't even looked at an NFL contract, you don't even know what the scale looks like. You don't have an idea of how much money you get per year. And somebody tells you on a $9 million contract that they're going to give you a discount of a percent of the discount down from 4 to 2.5%. That's $225,000 to read your 25 page document that is prefab, that you can't negotiate and you can't alter. You can't add nothing. You can't subtract nothing. If you don't like how much you make, you just quit your job and find somebody else to do it. But there's nothing you can do. You can't feel slighted because it's a scale. When you come into it, it's a scale. And where you get drafted, you might not agree with, like Lamar Jackson. So you just got to go out there and do your job and get ready to ball out so you can get paid at your extension. Is it right? No, but that's the job you chose. So the reason they did that was because they started giving out franchise tags for the 5th year. Okay, that makes sense. Then that was 2021. Thank you for that, Kiel. It said, hello, what she said, did you hear that the Dallas Cowboys might be looking to sign a QB, even though they paid Dak some millions? They paid Dak many millions, but you do know that Jerry Jones' pockets is deep. I knew Jerry Jones could possibly move away from Dak when he signed Dak. The fact that he signed Dak after what I think was Colorado's Nebraska game, as if to say, oh, I was wanting to get Shedeur, but that game wasn't good, as if that was really on Shedeur. I knew then, one, if that's what he was waiting on, and that made his decision, not a good business person like I thought, just loves money. And I'm not surprised, because I said this was going to happen. And, he told Shedeur in New Orleans, we got to do a lot of trading. Now, understand that Jerry Jones might not be hiring Coach Prime, but it wouldn't surprise me if, with Tennessee willing to trade, and it's public knowledge that the Jets want to mortgage the farm to get Cam Ward, as they should. And people have already said that Cleveland now might be scammed out of their pick. I don't know why Cleveland will be scammed, but they say Cleveland, don't let them scam you out of your pick. Maybe, somebody gonna convince Cleveland that they got a bigger issue, and they need to do like Tennessee and trade off those picks. It wouldn't surprise me if there's a fight that involves Dallas and the Jets to get Cam, or the Raiders and the Dallas Cowboys to bring Shedeur home to Dallas. Do you have any idea what the Cowboys drafting Shedeur Sanders would do for an organization that hasn't won in I don't know how long? They wouldn't even care. This is instant hope, and it just builds excitement. Fans are already happy and excited about Cam Ward playing Shedeur Sanders in the NFL. So put Shedeur in a Dallas uniform. Come on now. So no, I'm not surprised at all. In fact, I said it when people were like, well, we're not getting Shedeur now because Jerry Jones just signed Dak. There was like $60 million or something like that. I'm like, and we talking about Jerry Jones. I don't think people understand the magnitude of the amount of money that this man has. And maybe because I saw them in person, I get it. Maybe because I live in North Dallas, I understand. Maybe because I walked right past that beautiful white helicopter that says Dallas Cowboys at the start. That is just, maybe I understand. Maybe they don't know the investment that this man made over, I don't know how many acres of an area in North Dallas that was worth over $5 billion years ago. And the star wasn't even on the ground yet. He bought all of the land around it. So I get it. And I knew that was nothing but a business transaction. And the fact that he had signed that after that Nebraska game, I do believe that's what it was. It told me he was thinking, okay, this is not going to work out. But it's only $60 million. So I could get rid of that and go ahead and, get Shedeur. And that might be, that might be in his feelings about it. He might feel disposable. You never know. That's why a lot of players were getting upset with their team for the franchise tag. Oh, because the 5th-year option went out the window. Okay. It said no more picks or the difference. The money is secondary when you try to build your team through the draft. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. So that kind of goes for Dallas. The money is secondary. Okay. That's what I was thinking. Shedeur. Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if Shedeur the Dallas Cowboy. It wouldn't surprise me at all. It's a business. Look at how Jerry Jones conduct business. It seems like winning isn't the priority. I'm not going to say whether it is or whether it isn't, but it seems like it's not. And with that being the case, if making money is, what better way to infuse your franchise with sold out season tickets than to come see a homegrown Sanders, which means Coach Prime gonna be there too, not necessarily as a coach, but they don't play football on Sundays, and we know Coach Prime travels by a private jet. So guess who else gonna be around? Okay, to me, it's a smart decision. If Vegas decides they want to roll the dice and not get Shedeur, Dallas is right there. And LaJohntay or Will Sheppard could possibly end up there too. Hell, Shiloh too. You never know. You never know. Shiloh might be there too. So, that's our talk for today about contracts. We talked about what 2018 looked like with the 5th-year option going all the way through to 2020 and 2021. There was no 5th-year option. Kiel explained that's where the franchise tag came from and that people were upset about that. We talked about how Lamar Jackson, the difference in the money that he received when he was picked number 32 in the first round was $9 million when compared to the $37 million like Baker Mayfield at the top. So when you look at the 2024 draft, the most recent, all right, let's look at all positions and let's see. So we have Caleb Williams. We all know NIL is in effect at this time. There is no 5th option. It looks like AAV might be a signing bonus. I can figure that out tomorrow because I didn't see that. So I'm going to have to look that up. But I feel like it's a signing bonus. And I don't know which money is guaranteed or not. That's why they need to confirm it because they don't know either. And ask what AAV is. It's probably a signing bonus though. Caleb Williams was first to Chicago, $39 million. Remember, all contracts are 4 years. None are negotiable. There is no 5th-year option due to the franchise tag, but there does seem to be a signing bonus. If it's called AAV, that's what it is. So $39 million to Caleb. The second person, Jayden Daniels, was $37 million. So that's roughly a $2 million difference on this scale. The AAV was about the same for both, $9.8 million for Caleb, and for Jayden Daniels, $9.4 million. The yearly distribution, $7 million for Caleb first year, $6 million for Jayden, and then Jayden goes up over time, as does Caleb. To total that 4th year, that's when they get the big money. So if you make it past the first 3 years, you get like a good chunk lump sum, in my opinion, in year 4. So in year 1, you get $7 million. That's the NFL protecting themselves. Then in year 4, you get $11 million. But remember, you got an AAV, which seems like a signing bonus, of $9 million plus your 1 year salary of $7 million. So that's about $16, $17 million in 1 year. Remember, you got to pay taxes first. And I would talk to the accountant first, figure out my tax burden and how much I'm gonna actually have liquid, and then you make decisions for your future. Because let's say you get to year 4, you get that $12 million check, and let's say you only spent 10% of your salary outside of maintenance and expenses, right? And you have all of this money. Let's say you have 30 million, you spent 9 million, but you have 30 million sitting in the bank. That 30 million has to last you until you expire. Take care of the people in your life that you are obligated to take care of, which are your children. And if you get married and your marriage turns out like the rest with a divorce rate of 75% and you don't have a prenup, guess where? If you were married when you signed that contract, that's half. That's half. So that's why getting married for NFL rookies is not advisable. I saw someone get married, get engaged at the Senior Bowl. And I said, why are these guys in such a hurry with their lives in flux to put a ring on it? I mean, I'm just going to be honest. Give yourself 1 year in the NFL to absorb, get used to, acclimate to this world. You got to go to camp here. You got to travel. You got to be away. And that's one of the reasons the divorce rate is so high. Probably the breakup rate is probably 89, 90%. So why rush into a marriage when your situation is still in flux? And then when you get to the NFL, you got to get, it's like getting a new job. You know, sometimes when people get a new job and it's very complicated, they're like, look, I can't date right now because I can't hang out when you want me to. I got to get this right. I got to focus. So I don't understand the need to run and put a ring on it when your life is in flux. I just saw an article that says when men are broke, they shouldn't even be in a relationship. And while, you know, that first direct deposit hadn't even hit yet, you broke. You want to put a ring on it to complicate things. And you haven't even figured out yet that you get 37 million, 9 million over 4 years. And you don't even know how much of it's guaranteed. And you don't even know your tax burden. Why complicate your life? Be single, just date. So I don't get it. So anyway, and you should never propose out of obligation, fellas. It said, here's the problem. Jerry is over the salary cap. Everything, if he makes that kind of move, he's going to have to restructure everybody's contract. Oh, well, he's not going to do that. That might be why he told Shador he got to do a whole lot of trading. Because I got the impression when he said it that he was like, it ain't going to happen. That's what I felt when they were in New Orleans. That's just how I felt. So, you know, that is what it is. So, all right. How did y'all like today's podcast? That includes my presentation. We talked about we took a deep dive into NFL contracts. We took a deep dive into NFL players' finances and how some very surprising NFL players go broke. You know, so, you know, we talked about Travis highlights are out. He put them out themselves. They're nice. Go watch it. He has, the production was really good. You know, reliving Travis playing, I think is always fun to watch. After watching his highlights, again, I think Travis is the more impactful wide receiver. I think he's good on both sides of the ball, but he is more impactful on the wide receiver side. So we have to see what the NFL decides. Most fans think that Travis will play one way most of the time, full time, and have packages on the other side. And if he's not as impactful as a cornerback, why risk it? I would give him packages. All right, so y'all let me know how y'all feel. That concludes my presentation. I hope y'all liked it. Like I said, you can Google a lot of this when it comes to NFL contracts online. You know, you're somebody else going to the NFL. Again, do not let the first time you see an NFL contract or understand what the structure looks like be the day that you get yours in the email. All right. So there we go. I guess we get ready to close out. Y'all have any questions, anything before we close out? This was actually good. So I'm gonna put that one back up there. That's why players are upset with the franchise tag. That was good insight, Kiel. I appreciate that. To know, what that actually, what happened to the 5th-year option. Oh, okay. AAV actually stands for average annual value. So that's not even a signing bonus. That's just an average annual value of the contract itself. See how quickly you can find things out? So the average annual value of Caleb Williams' contract is $9 million. Then, like I said, when you go past number 32, when you get into pick 40, their contracts in total was about the same as pick 34, $9 million. Keon Coleman was pick number 33 last year. His contract is $10 million. His average annual value is $2.5 million. His 4th year, he gets $3 million. So he has about 1.8 to 2.2 every year to work with after you got to pay taxes. Again, you got to pay taxes. So there's a lot more guys in the league that don't make that kind of money. When you look at the top and you have Caleb Williams at $39 million, like I said, it gets down to pick 12, Bo Nix. His contract is $18 million with an annual value of $4 million. So not everybody gets that money, and that's just the 12th pick. They have like 256 picks, one that they call Mr. Irrelevant. So if you get drafted around pick 144, your 4-year contract, in the case of Austin Booker, was $4 million, and your annual value is $1 million. So you have to live on $882,000 at the least and $1.2 million at the most. And you don't get the $1.2 million until you get to the 4th year. So imagine you get $882,000 your first year, and you got to pay taxes out of that, and you feel obligated to buy people houses and cars. That's how you're gonna go broke, because you would have to clamp down on the next 3 years that you still have to pay work tax, federal tax, on and possible state tax depending on where you live. So, and let me see. Let me go to player number 200, and the last person. Oh wow, I didn't even know he was drafted. Number 225, Brendan Rice. Now he's on here, but his financials are not. So we're gonna go up one. Y'all remember Brendan Rice, Jerry Rice's son? Remember he went to Colorado, and the year Coach Prime came, he transferred to USC. So I don't know if he's in the league or not. But number 257, Jalen Key. His 4-year contract is $4 million. His annual value is $1 million. His first year, he makes $800,000. His second year, $900,000. Third year, $1 million. 4th year, that's if he's still there, $1.2 million. So imagine you in a 40% tax bracket. You have to pay work tax. You have to pay state tax. You buying houses and cars. That's money that you just want to put away. You just want to put that away. Here's the problem. Oh, you're talking about Jerry over the salary cap. So that's it, y'all. I guess we can get ready to close out. This was a very insightful conversation. I hope if any of the guys, regardless of where they go to school, that they see it, they know what's up. That they don't get talked into getting an agent for any percentage, be it 4 at the highest or 1% at the lowest, because that's a lot of money. Again, the suggestion is workshop it. Everybody, 9 people get together, put in $250, or whoever want to be in the workshop, $250, and they meet with a lawyer, a bar licensed lawyer in whatever state they choose. Where they went to school is good, and get a recommendation. There's nothing wrong with that. Y'all spend the day, go over an NFL contract, understand what you need to look for, and this is where you ask your questions. One of the questions is how much of my salary, if is guaranteed, maybe all, maybe a portion. What does my yearly breakdown could potentially look like if I get drafted in the second round at pick number 65, stuff like that. So, those are things that, if you know people, you want to talk to them, you want to educate them, because I think the worst thing to see is all of these NFL players going broke. And the average career span in the NFL is 3.3 years. So, all right, y'all, I guess we're going to get out of here. Y'all were good. Thank y'all for the interaction. It was really good tonight. So I'm going to say good night. And thank y'all. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace. Thank you, Kiel. That means a lot. Because I really did think if I wanted to do this or not. So I really appreciate it. And of course, I appreciate your insight into the league at all. If you know any players from the past or whatever, let me, reach out to them and see if they'd be interested in coming on and talking to us and sharing some insight into their story. And I'm also, too, while I'm in Atlanta, reaching out to people I know to see who it is that maybe I could get to come speak to our podcast group. All right. So thank you, Kiel, so much. Thank you. I'm forever grateful. Good night, what she said. Always knowledgeable with NFL. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Somebody actually told me. They said you need to help these guys going to the NFL and kids with NIL. And I'm like, you know what? I think this might be my first segment. It's out there for them. So I hope that they find it. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Same time, same place. Thanks for watching What She Said.